Namsa, I'm going to welcome Mr. Shashikant Chowdhury. Please, if I've pronounced your name correctly, please let me know. And am I audible? Can everybody hear me? So
yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So Mr. Shashikant is an expert. He's himself. He's an angel investor. He's a mentor to SMMEs and a guide to startups. His background is in business himself, having started and co-founded a number of IT companies. He's been instrumental in bringing IT to the map in India, and he's co-founded a large Lumber Technologies as a leading company in mobile technologies. And he's been co-founder of many other companies in that regard. But he's also an expert in market behavior. And we've asked Mr. Chowdhury to host a masterclass specifically for our students in our markets in Southern and Eastern Africa, but on a global scale, to give them some guidance on consumer behavior post the COVID-19 in these emerging markets and how to plan and identify opportunities going forward in these markets. So with that, Mr. Chowdhury, I'm going to hand over to you and welcome and thank you for doing this for us.
Thank you. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Namsa. And thank you, all participants. Let's start on our program right now, and let me share my screen just to get the things started. Let me make sure that you are able to see it. If somebody can give me a feedback on that, that would be great.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is, I've kind of like divided this presentation into two sections. One is like, what are the changes we are seeing? And as we are seeing those changes, what are the opportunities in the space? I will be talking in general opportunities. I also will be talking opportunities with respect to particular sector. So that's how the presentation is going to be. So the first 15-20 minutes is going to be more of a behavior change, and it's been almost like 3 months for our from the March onwards. So people are more or less, they have seen these kind of changes in the society, and more or less there is a common trend, in terms of the behavior all across the world, and they are very specific to, African countries over there. I'll be just touching those in a few minutes. So let's start without further thing. So let's spend like 10-15 minutes on the behavior changes, and then really move towards the opportunities. So basically what we have started seeing is, the attitude of the customers are really changing. In terms of like now the people are, prepared to trade off the privacy, if they get to their purpose, they're fairly comfortable. The most important factor which is playing out is the health risk for all across. And from that point of view, the people want to reach out or consume those kind of products without really putting health at risk. That's number one. There is a tremendous concern about the family. And this is all over the world, but very specifically true for SSA. What we have seen is that, all across the world, the concern for the family is like close to 48%, but in SSA, it is 75%. So just look at the kind of the concern is specific to this part of the region where almost 75% people are concerned about the family. Supply chain challenges, because, the supply chains are getting disrupted, and the supply chains were like a 3-layer, 4-layer, and moment the supply, chain gets into a kind of a challenging situation, at that point of time, getting a good product is essential. And when we are talking about demand for the packaged goods, that's increasing. People are less price sensitive about that. The moment you guarantee the hygiene and standard, people are comfortable. What we have seen is like a lot of, specifically in SSA countries, what we have seen is the cooking at home has increased. These percentages, why I'm taking these examples is just because these are specific to SSA countries. Globally, if I say that it's like 39%, but in SSA countries, cooking at home has gone to 51%. That's more than 50% of the people. Visiting in the malls has really gone down. What we have started seeing, people talked about, Africa lagged behind in terms of like internet, the e-commerce and, consumption on the net. But I think what is happening is there is an incredible shift, which we are seeing in terms of the behavior. If you look at the use of social networking, it has gone up. Online reading, listening to music, video streaming, everything has gone up. And what is going to happen is these changes are going to be permanent. The moment we have like people using more than 4 hours a day of particular technology, and after 21 days, as we say, you develop a muscle memory. And as you develop that muscle memory, it's very difficult to go back to the previous. So what we are going to see is always people are now going to label this as 2 worlds, pre-corona and post-corona. So because it's once in a lifetime kind of an event which is happening, we are witnessing that. If you look at the purchasing decisions of the people, the grocery has gone up 21%. But if you look at jewelry, furnishing, quick service restaurants, normal restaurants, jewelry is 79%. So this comes into the kind of, most discretionary spending, jewelry, and that's the reason why it's like minus 79%, but grocery comes into most essential, that's plus 21%. And the rest of the things you can see, which is happening, across the sectors. If you look at out of the home entertainment, it's 60% down. Travel, international, domestic flights, 75% down. People are now going to new places for the shopping. If they don't get a product at a particular place, if they don't get that particular brand, they are going to newer ones where the supply is available, where it is hygienic, where it is safe. People are changing where they shop. It's almost like 21%. And as I said, cooking, the home, that home is now the central place for all. This is the largest experiment in the world, which is we are witnessing, working at home. Working at home, getting entertained at home, learning at home, fitness at home, social media at home, trying out new things at the home, learning new ways of cooking at the home. All these are happening right now as we speak. In terms of like the usage, if you see, the online streaming has gone up 45%. Because we are sitting at home and people are consuming OTT plays, Netflix and all those plays, Amazon Prime, video chats has increased 26%. Playing online games, tremendous jump in that space, wellness app, online fitness, whatever that can be consumed at the home. And all these areas where the new digital low-touch activities, learning, remote learning, TikTok, that has gone up. And you could see the opportunities corresponding to that, they will start, going up. In person, that's where the things are moving. What we have started seeing is this coronized consumerism. So, and that's where now we are moving towards a little bit of change in the behavior and then corresponding opportunity. This is general, but then I will come to specific sectors. Maybe tourism as a sector, maybe hospitality as a sector, maybe education as a sector, depending upon how much time we have. And, we will have, of course, the Q&A session that will be followed. But if you see over here, the availability is more important over the brand loyalty. People earlier were loyal to the brands, but now, people want to make sure, because of the fear, the products are getting sold out. So they are saying that, okay, whatever is available, whatever is good, other brand, I'm fine with that. I just want that. And that's where again the opportunity for the people. I mean, can they make it easily discoverable where the products are available in the clean and hygienic manner? Availability is playing more compared to the brands. The subscription models. I mean, people are getting comfortable. More and more people are going for the subscription models in the Netflix and the Amazons. People are getting comfortable in the this particular model. And in this particular model, if you can offer a little bit of kind of a discount, I'm not saying the full one, but just to get the initial ones on your platform, what is going to happen even for the home services, even for the car wash companies, memberships, e-commerce, grocery, people would be ready. So it's like if somebody is pre-committing to you with certain amount of money, you might give the benefit, but because of that, you will get lot of new customers. Devices, I mean, because everybody is at home, the family, everybody has to work, everybody has to learn, everybody has to consume entertainment, everybody has to, now the schools are going to be opening up across the world. Everybody would want the devices. Everybody would want laptops and headphones and mics and all those things. Again, multiple devices are going to be needed. Earlier, people could swap, but now, at any given point of time, somebody might be doing homework, somebody might be working for his office, somebody might be getting, the recipes for preparing the food. All those things are happening. Fear for self. As I said, the fear is now the central part for the psychology of many customers. And that's where any product, that has a fear or that uses the fear will have tremendous adoption in terms of whether we are looking at PPEs or sanitizers, any product which can create a perception of a reduced risk, people would just buy it. Be it a UV sanitizer, UV blocks, or maybe door frame detectors, mist, which are going to be used. All those things which you are probably going to do, anything which really creates a perception of reduced risk, people are going to buy. If you look at people want to buy fresh. People are looking at, I want to buy vegetables, meat, fish online. How can I get it? Because the supplies are now supply chains are going to be the problem. How you are going to go about it, and that's where because that fresh now has to come from the local surrounding itself, and if it is going to come from the local surrounding, you have to make sure that there will be startups or the entrepreneurs who would look at really working on that last mile solution. And now this meats and vegetable and everything has to be collected. There will be self-help groups. Can there be companies who can get into the microfinance and support those people in terms of the employment as well as getting some earnings? But these people will be working on the farms and other places. And because of them, if you combine this local last mile delivery with the microfinance, there could be opportunities. Telemedicine. I mean, people now, even if you get into some problem, now people are fairly comfortable in the telemedicine now. People do not want to go to the doctor's place, clinics, more of digital clinics, more of a remote examination, more of the people, even in India, and that might be true in Africa also. I mean, telemedicine was not recognized, or it was beyond the regulation. But now, since the corona has come, all those regulations are thrown apart, and the telemedicine is getting big jump. Next is the it's like many people you must have seen. they are sharing on the social media that this is what I've learned. I've learned new language. I've learned a new kind of yoga. I'm getting into a new fitness program. There are these 21 days fitness programs people are putting in. Everybody is, posting something, because they have the time at their hand. And, if they're learning the yoga, people are saying that, okay, because what's happening, the corporates are giving money to people in terms of you can use that money to subscribe to a fitness program, and that's where people are getting into this accessories for the gyms at the homes, the foods, and the apples needed for these kind of activities. The family is now going to be a single consumer. I mean, if there are 4 people, not 4 people are going to be at many times. I mean, personal choices will be different, but as a home, there will be a single kind of a customer where many of those needs are going to come as a whole from a single kind of person. What we are seeing is that, right from all those fashion, groceries, convenience products, medicine, you can see that, many of those ones are getting digitized, and people, wherever there is an opportunity for low risk and high convenience, that's where the entrepreneurs are going to come in, and they are going to make those things available. If you can see, in terms of even the flight to the retail, we have started seeing in African countries also, there's almost 10% increase in terms of digital and omni-channel. Online retail is going to be mainstream. People talked about it, that, in African countries, the e-commerce will not be really really going to that level. But I think now that's going to be a reality. The online retail, and there's going to be huge scope in terms of the e-commerce. In India, if I speak about, we have so many unicorns, but only 12% of the commerce is organized, and out of that only 4% is like the e-commerce. So 96% in India is still to be, is the kind of a runway ahead. And if you can see the possibility in terms of the hyper-local, in terms of the last mile logistics, routing, these kind of companies, huge opportunity is going to come that side. Shift to the value essentials. I mean, people are looking at, wherever there is a value, in terms of food takeouts or snacks, people are, going towards that. If not necessarily, if they are not getting their specific brand, but still they are going to wherever they are getting the value. As I said, the loyalty. I mean, if somebody is providing the quality, hygienic, right value, organic kind of food and those kind of things, people are going to forget their own loyalty towards the brand. Any company, as I said, which is also health conscious, who are providing the products, but also kind of people are trying to shop or trying to do, go to those places where, those businesses have really shown the kind of empathy in these times. If that company is a caring kind of a company, the people are really, working with them in terms of getting their products. Sorry, somebody commented, is it too fast? Is it too fast, or do you want me to slow down? You had to give me feedback in between so that anybody knows. So can you give me feedback if any comment, because I can't see the comments over here.
Okay.
Okay. And that's where I said the home economy. And the home economy is where, we can see that everything with learning, working, fitness, entertainment, social, all those things, cooking, your skincare, everything is now bound at home. Home is going to be a central place now. Office is not going to be the central place, but the home is going to be central place for a lot many people. And that's where what we have already started seeing, beyond human, that's a new normal. Now we are entering into a new kind of a situation where, people are now wherever there is automation, wherever there is contactless kind of operations, people are comfortable. Now people catch me in seconds. People want a real-time content because people are worried. What's going to happen? Because shutdown, opening up, some in the epidemic in particular region, particular lane or particular road, if the corona incidence has increased, people want real-time information. And people, now we are getting into a play where the limited travels, I mean, restricted mobility. I mean, people are also become conscious in terms of the inclusive kind of a nature. If it comes to that, if there are high risk people, people are ready to share the information, and they're willing to go extra mile to get the help to a person who is at high risk. Minding bicycle. I mean, people, because of the the mental kind of people are going to be stuck for a long amount of time for in the home, which is like 3 months, 4 months has been happening. People are getting anxious. People are not used to these kind of things, and that's where the lot of companies or a lot of people have started coming up with the mental health care kind of thing. In the telehealth, for example, in the US, in the telehealth space, Teladoc is a company. This is growing at a rate of 50% on a week-to-week basis. I mean, this is amazing. 50% week-to-week is something which is not heard of. And in terms of the mental health also, what we have started seeing is that the funding for the mental health has gone up 400% in Q1, 400%. Because there's so much of problem which is happening because of the people, there's a company called as a Talkspace, and the therapies which have been provided on the Talkspace kind of thing have increased 65% in only in 1 month, in the month of March and April. That's where the new opportunities are coming up. If you look at multifunction homes, we talked about private personnel willing to share public for the information. Proudly local. I mean, people are now going to be supporting the local entrepreneurs, local small businesses, local grocery shops, because you need to support society, and that's where there is a kind of a proudness also that is involved. Because if I'm going to be supporting not the imported ones but my local brands, and people are now looking at one-time kind of a use, reuse kind of thing, which normally we are used to be. But people are now going to be scared because not many places people are going to be comfortable with reusing all those kind of things. Let's come to this. As I said, first 20 minutes I will be talking about generic opportunities, in general the behavior change. Then I will talk about the new normal, general opportunity, and then I will come to specific, which is more towards what's happening in the different sectors. So next 20 minutes is going to be this opportunities sector-wise. Where are these opportunities? We would take the questions after 20 minutes. That's what as per the plan. Now, if you look at the slide, if the slide is visible, see what's happening. We are getting into a kind of a low-touch economy. High touch is becoming weak. The kind of the play which we are trying to see is as I said, is the largest work from home experiment. Now, Zoom has already come from the corporate to a consumer kind of area. Very importantly, if you look at the top, Gartner has said the operating cost is going to be 30%. The 25% of the people are going to be working out of home. They are not going to go office. The recent survey in India, in the IT companies, 80% of the people have said that they don't want to come to office. I mean, this is very, very interesting. In fact, the TCS, which is one of the largest company, IT services company with almost like 500,000 people across the world, they have said by 2025, that next 5 years, their 75% of the workforce will be working out of homes. They are calling that these are like the borderless offices. They should not be coming to offices. And that's where in India, see, this is not new. This was happening. If you look at the one of this company called as Automatic, this is in 2010, they were 50 people only, 50 people, but they were into almost like, 12 states and 10 countries. The 50 people in the 12 states of United States and 10 different countries, that was their distribution. If you look at the top, the Automatic, now in the 10 years, they have 940 people, but in the 47 states and 60 countries. That's how the teams are distributed. If you look at the Zapier, 180 people staff, 25 states and 17 countries. That's where, the work from home from 4 to 25 and even 80%. That's what is happening. The good point is most of the, many of these companies, which we have seen as big companies, whether JD or whether you look at Salesforce, whether you look at Airbnb, these companies started in the downturn. These are the good times to start the company because, when you are going through a kind of a storm, it's very, if you play it very nice, you can take over the competition because he is not able to see it because of the storm. If there is no storm, if everything is clear, he knows that you are coming and he can just, make sure that you won't get ahead. But in the storm, not many people would be, it's a chance for you to get ahead of the competition. I mean, whatever has, if you look at the approach, what people have seen in most of the companies in the Silicon Valley, post Series A, all the people, almost like 70% of the posts beyond Series A funded companies are distributed. I'm not getting into too many details, but what's going to happen is that your qualification is not going to matter more. If your pedigree in terms of skill, wherever you are in the world, if you have those skills, the people will employ you. So, I mean, their opportunities are going to be from an employment perspective all over the world. I mean, we are getting into a new e-commerce, which is like e-commerce 2 now. The e-commerce 1 was a pre-COVID. We are getting into the e-commerce 2. That's what's happening. In India, we have seen a lot of startups. I mean, the Gray Orange is one of the startups where the founders, the company is in India, founders are sitting in the Silicon Valley and their R&D centers are in Singapore and Boston. So we have started seeing the distributed kind of stuff. Let's talk about the opportunities. Here I will be spending 2 or 3 minutes each on each of the sector because I'm very cognizant about the time. By 6:45 we should be done. If you look at the healthcare, telemedicine we talked about, elder care is going to be a tremendous opportunity because there has to be a specific solutions which we'll have to provide to this kind of people, and that's where what we are in terms of the specific startups which are going to come in to only provide the care for the healthcare. Now, physiotherapy for that matter. I mean, the people who have cancer, people who are just operated can't go to the hospitals. But if they have the physiotherapy need, how they are going to do it? There are going to be online physiotherapy. In fact, for myself, for the last 1 month, I am doing online physiotherapy classes because of my neck problem. And it's working out perfectly. If you look at the opportunities in terms of the PPEs only were for doctors. Now the PPEs will be required for all the working professionals. You go to the hairstylist, you go to the lawyer, you go to those places where the people are confined to the closed places. You will require PPEs, UV chambers. I mean, all this, the resanitization of the equipment. You will prepare now in India, and that might be true in your countries also. The people are creating the small boxes and the boxes and the kind of a cupboard type of UV chambers where the PPEs can be put there for like 2 hours, and by the ultraviolet rays, the PPE is completely disinfected and that can be used. in terms of the driving test kits, because the testing kits, people have to just go there, make sure that they get tested. In terms of the isolation units, people will have to create in the large numbers. See the kind of the scenario happening in US, in the Brazil, in India. We have to create different levels of isolation units which are not normal, which are like not hospitals. These are separate ones. Even for the newborn babies, if newborn babies, they will require tiny face shields, because they need to be protected. 3D printing. I mean, in this 3D printing, many of the parts of the ventilators, these are going to be requirements of those parts where if these parts have to be replaced, you can't get it from supply chain, because supply chain is completely broken. You have to take the help of 3D printing, and that's where the a lot of 3D printing startups and the businesses are going to work. Repairing of the ventilators, again, that's going to be very, very sort of like required, because a lot of these are now getting into problems, because the cost of the ventilators is close to $25,000, $30,000 single ventilator. Somebody has to come with the low-cost ventilators. Now you must have seen, and there's a lot of effort in India also to create the low-cost ventilator at the costing $5,000. And we have come up with those kind of ventilators which are patented, low cost, and it can, give the kind of a ventilation service to 4 people simultaneously. So at, from $30,000, the low cost ventilators, which are $5,000, and can work with 5 patients simultaneously. And that's where the new opportunities for the startups are going to come in. I mean, if you look at the startups, where these opportunities are going to come in. If you look at simple startups, I mean, video series for the pregnant, I mean, pregnant people, ladies are worried whether the kids are going to be delivered, whether they are going to have a problem, what kind of care they should take. I mean, there are companies which are creating those kind of series. In US, people are dying on the bed and they are not they are allowed to meet to their family members. I mean, that's not a good way, but then what they're doing is, there are companies who are helping a very, very, very handy smartphone-based wheel creation on the bed itself. Now, from a hospital-centric data, we are moving towards a patient-centric data, because wherever this patient goes, his history needs to be carried with them. If you look at the company called as a, RIOT Mini ICU, this RIOT Mini ICU, this kind of company, even if it is 3 feet away, it can monitor 10 patients and the vital signals are captured. And wherever you are sitting in the world, that information can be provided. I mean, that's the kind of the company which they have come up. Robotic nurse, because you don't want to get in touch with those kind of, the patients. There is the startup called as Jarvis. They are using this UV camera mounted on a robot, and on the crowd, it can really check on the runtime, people with the increased temperature and with the face mask. I mean, the Fitbits and the smart thermometers, where the people are using even, those kind of places where, if they can see that the heart rate is increasing in this cluster by 10%, there is a chance that there might be infection. Those type of companies have already started coming up in the startup, and there is going to be a lot of opportunity for the people in the healthcare startups. Let's say, get into the remote working. This area is just going to grow, because this absolutely nothing was happening. People were not working out of home, and now you see that the people are going to be working out of home. Can you see the cleaning and disinfecting company coming together? Yes, there is a startup. We don't want to be only clean, but we want the cleaning and disinfecting at a single place. Now, if, for example, I am taking this conference and there is a pet in mind, can I keep this pet quiet? Can you create these quiet pet toys where the pet is only chewing and not creating a disturbance. What's going to happen with the remote working? A whole new community is going to be added up. Women especially, and the specially able people who were not, because they could not get out of home because of their family duties and pregnancy and those kind of things. Because it's now going to be working from home, these people will be available for the jobs. That's where they will get a lot of opportunity. Even if like the play spaces like maps, if I have kids playing in my apartment, I don't want the kids to disturb this conference right now. What's going to happen? The company startups are going to create those kind of the map-based kind of tools where the child gets restricted to that location itself, right? In terms of like, if you look at even the office spaces, these office spaces are going to be remodeled. There are going to be all those COVID-proof certification. Those type of services are going to be required. Anything has to be COVID certified, right? There is going to be services startup, which is going to say from table to email, we will do a complete kind of a setup. There has to be now, antimicrobial chairs and fans, right? All those the kind of things which are going to be required. For example, DRBC consulting. Right now, people were only worried about disaster recovery. But now people are going to be worried about disaster recovery as well as business continuity. Now, some people have to be there who will make sure that there is a business continuity that is going to happen. In the interest of the time, I will just move to the startups. Just look at what kind of startups we are getting into. In terms of like the employee monitoring, because people are going to be working all across the world. How you are going to monitor those employees? How you are going to make the setup available to employees the same setup as they would get in the office? How they are going to make the new kind of the work environment in the IT itself that will be enabled wherever the people are going to be, sitting. If you look at the kind of the startups which we are getting in terms of like, for example, the people are going to be interviewed all across the world. Now you can't go physical. If you are not going physical, there has to be a video interview process. We have started seeing the video interview process where the people can just go there, click on the URL, and the chatbot starts asking the question, and the live video interview with those kind of questions by the people answer, and that video is analyzed in terms of in-video analytics, and then the people can make the judgment about it. Now, for example, we are getting into a remote working startups. There is this, cleaning aggregator website or that kind of applications. If we can get an aggregator kind of a platform where I can choose the cleaning and disinfectant and companies who are specialized in that kind of jobs, that can be very interesting. Even if I'm doing recruiting all over the world, I have to know the credentials. Can I use the blockchain in terms of educational credentials to know whether these are true? And that one interesting tool, which is the collaborative design. The collaborative design, Figma is a tool. People are going to be working all across. Now, services, software services, product, you can still develop a code, but can I design? If it's a UX design, if it's a product design, the Figma is a kind of tool where the people across the world can sit across and they can, collaboratively design those, and can make it available. DigiLocker and digital sign. Lot of businesses are going to be, onboarded remotely. So, their e-signature, the documents are going to get into DigiLocker. The digital signage is going to be accepted. In fact, one of the company in India onboarded 750 outlets without a person visiting that remote city. It was all done using the video, know your customer, DigiLocker, digital sign, all those things, those were happening. Colorized disinfectant, very interesting kind of a product. So what happens with the colorized disinfectant? That has a dye, and if you look at that, if you put the colorized disinfectant on that, the whole bottle will become blue. And wherever and you can then find out, okay, oh, at this place, the disinfectant has not been properly placed because it is blue color, and slowly the blue color will go off. So you can use those kind of, that is an interesting startup that is working on these colorized kind of disinfectant. We have started seeing the interactive transcripts of these meetings, the Zoom meeting which is happening, the Google Meets which is happening, even the Microsoft has come up with the new soft tools which does this kind of a background noise cancellation on the fly for the meetings. So anywhere the noise is happening across, you will get to hear only one speaker. That's what, intelligent facility management services, those are also coming up. What I'm going to do is look at these tourism. For the hotels, they will have to provide the airline kind of a grade, 99 purification of the, in terms of the air conditioning. Whatever the kind of the processes the airlines follows, they will have to be followed in the hospitality industry. It's going to be real-time screening of the people, not the physical screening. Anytime a person is going to come in, it's going to now not only physical but the bioscreening in terms of the infection, the temperature, the respiration rate, everything, right? In terms of like the facilities, they are all going to be required COVID certification. The kitchens are going to be COVID certified. They are going to be sanitized every 3 hours or 4 hours. There are going to be the records that are going to be mentioned. Somebody has to create a startup. Even for the chefs and the waiters who are working in the hospitals, they need to, we have, medical records. And if the hotel or the restaurant is able to show the medical records and very clean records and history of the records, the people are likely to go there. We are going to have the door frame metal detectors, so people just walk and all their essential parameters are, they will screen it out in terms of even the cabs, they will be COVID certified. You will see those kind of things which are, just coming. In the immigration also, in the immigration, you will have to show your immunization in history in terms of your certifications, the kind of the medications, your vaccination histories, all those everybody, the cab or the airlines or the hotels or the restaurants, their buses, they will have to come with a policy. Who is going to come up with that policy? Travel and the confidence policy. That's going to be, going to be required. If you look at the, kind of the startups, you can see that, in Japan, they have already created a multilingual chatbots because people want the information. So there is a huge load in terms of the questions people have while they come from the airport. There are these, people, multilingual chatbots. You can measure the people if there is a restriction that only, 50 people can sit in the restaurant in the airport. And that's where, the facility, the softwares are getting created or the startups are getting created. You can say, oh, more than 50 people, there's a warning. People can come with a branded food kiosk. I mean, there are those now, the people are coming with a on the fly, just like a vending machine, pizza making machine. So you can select what kind of toppings you want, what kind of base you want, and the pizza will be created in front of you. And people are likely to buy because they know that, oh, it's in my front. Now, in color-coded QR chatbots, in the China, if you go, if you are in a particular category, even the QR code which is available on the mobile, these are color-coded. In terms of, if you get into Dubai, all the people who are traveling, they will have to wear a smart helmet, and the smart helmet is able to check the temperature and other vital parameters, and that is relayed to the people. Now the open table kind of the company, they are using the open table kind of software to ask people to come at a designated times so that only 50 people can come in the retail shop. That's where the people are using. If you look at only one sector, that's where I'm going to stop now. If you look, with 2 minutes, I'm going to stop because tourism is so important over there. If you look at the policies to be created, brands, hospital, the restaurant brands, the hotel brands, the travel company brands, they have to communicate to the people and they have to make sure that people are comfortable. There is going to be large demand for content writers, the policy guidelines, trainings of the people, training of the staff, because the staff is going to be trained, certifications, contactless modifications, everything has to be contactless, the lifts and all those things, places where wherever you can go, it's contactless. Even the check-ins have to be contactless. Even if you go to your ordering of your menu, that's going to be the QR codes. All places, wherever the contact is there, you have to make sure that you have a UV cleaning facility. You make sure, for the communication which you are going to do with the clients, lot of over communication, the digital communication you have to do with the clients, so you have to adopt in that e-mist in terms of the sanitizing machine to spread disinfectant material throughout the hotel. You have to use, for example, all the touch points, make sure that the ceiling of the room doors with a tape strip to emphasize that, nobody has entered. Update all those signage, somebody has to do it. Make sure that how you communicate that this place is disinfected and safe. You have to work on that. In how to modify your check-ins, contactless. Yes. Updating the website. Yes. Rolling out the mobile check-in. Yes. Hand sanitization. Yes. Now the people are putting the Amazon Echo Dot services in the room, so the people can speak to that, and that is communicated back to the staff, and the staff doesn't have to come inside. Now there is going to be a lot of programming that is going to be needed. Startups who can really get voice-activated kind of stuff instead of the printed collaterals and directories and all those kind of things. Can you have the RFID locks? Even people don't have to touch the locks. Even the mobile should be able to open the door, the doors of his rooms. If you can look at, one of the interesting things that can be done is that there is this company called as Neotray. What they are putting is a kind of non-products which are non-refrigerated. These products are kept in a box which is sealed, and it is connected through a Zigbee to a property management system. And this is like people in the room don't have to do anything, just have to click on the mobile, that is, the box will open, consume those products, and just click on your mobile, box will get closed, and whatever you have consumed, that will be automatically updated. There are a lot of these areas. We don't have time. As I said, the entertainment is a huge area. E-commerce and retail. I mean, there are so many things which we could talk about, but in the interest of the time, I know that we don't have too much of time over here. I will open it for the questions. So if somebody can let me know if there are any questions, I can use, because we really don't have time to go towards that, but I wanted to cover the hospitality, tourism. Of course, I wanted to cover the education, but we don't have too much of time. So I will stop sharing my screen, and invite the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary. The one question that was asked is, will you be able to share the slides with us, for us to share with the participants?
Yeah, sure, I will do that.
Thank you. If there are any other questions from anybody in the audience, please post it onto the Q&A platform, and then we will address those questions or forward them to Mr. Chaudhary. If there are no questions, well, while people are still trying to think about all of this information, Mr. Chaudhary, I think from our side this is a very relevant subject that you are covering. In Southern Africa and Eastern Africa and the African markets as such, the impact of the COVID situation has forced people to look at pivoting their businesses, looking for new business ideas, but also exploring the new opportunities that come with the COVID situation. There's a lot of opportunities opening up. People need to be aware of it and be able to take advantage of those opportunities. Might need to change your business model from manufacturing to something else, or manufacturing from one product to the next. But these opportunities are very relevant, and they're out there.
Absolutely. I mean, you're right on the money there, Charles. I mean, people will have to be flexible. They have to change the business model, and for example, here in the that might be happening in African countries, but many of the branded hotels, five-star hotels, I mean, they have tied up with the local last mile logistic, and they are providing the the kind of the branded food, which is the chefs, five-star chefs they create in these five-star hotels. Those are being provided to the residents of that city. I mean, people are experimenting, people are flexible, and people are adopting, and there are huge opportunity. As I said, if you only look for hospitality segment itself, we can talk about like half an hour.
We've got another question from the audience. Is are you aware of any opportunities that come within the music industry?
Oh yes, in the music industry, yeah, there are opportunities. So what is happening is that models have already started shifting in terms of like the OTT players which have started coming in, the new type of genres, those kind of mini kind of episodes or mini type of programs. The people are expecting what's going to happen. See, in the one of the music industry, one very creative way the person has done. So what they have done, this music artists, they are great people, but now they cannot perform. So what it's like a three-way arrangement. If I want to send a message to birthday message or anniversary message to my parents, what I will do is I will sort of like construct a kind of a message. I will send it to this artist, and this artist will create an original song, and they can create a musical. And it's a real creation. It is just not like a small jingle, but it's like a real creation. And that personalized music, recorded kind of a message is given to my parents. And I am prepared to pay for that because it is such a curated and high-end experience and very personalized. So people are coming out with those kind of, even for the artist, they are coming out with these kind of opportunities where the people on the remotely they can create. I have seen in India itself that people initially started creating these webinars, and they were using the Zoom, and through Zoom on a free basis. They reached out to the people, and after some point they started charging for the kind of a 1 hour program or for a 2 hour program. But that is also the people can get into, even from the music industry. Some of the examples.
Another question that came up is, where do you see the tourism industry going from here going forward with relation to the current situation where we're at and the future? How do you see the tourism industry pick up?
I think what I see is like, the people, there is going to be a short-term picture and a long-term picture. The short-term picture is that the tourism is going to be more local. In the short term, people are going to be afraid that I'm going to be traveling to another country, and if I get stuck up, I don't have anything because I don't know the laws. I might not get screen. I might not get flight, and I can be completely miserable. So what's going to happen in the short term is that local tourism is going to increase. By that time, definitely, this time is not going to be very easy time for the potential for the international tourism. In the short term, international tourism is going to be in a problem. But in the due course of time, I believe that's just a question of 3 to 4 months. By the time all these vaccinations and will come in, and at the same time, we would have developed so many mechanisms right from to your travel to your stay in the international hotels. Lot of things, the technology would play the role and make it safe, make it contactless, make it automated. What I would see is the boutique hotels will have an advantage because they can control the experience. They can control the experience. If it's a big hotel, people will be a little bit scared. But I believe this is just like we are at the last 3-4 months, 5 months, but the travel, international travel is going to pick up after that. Whosoever is going to get prepared for that, because all this community has to be communicated. You need to communicate. You can't be dependent on the OTA players. All these site aggregators about what kind of things each hotel will have to be proactive in terms of making sure to leverage the technology in terms of sanitizing, making it safe, making it contactless, and those processes, those practices through video, through their website, they have to communicate. And that's where the large opportunity is for the entrepreneurs to help the hospitality industry in this journey.
Thank you, sir. Another question that was asked, and this comes, will most training and conferences, except the very technical ones, move to virtual?
Oh, yes. I believe that's going to be the kind of the world which we are entering into, where this technology, this where the Zoom and all those things and WebEx and Cisco of the world, all those, they were only for the kind of normal communication and normal conferences, but the technologies which are getting, people are working on these kind of experiences, that even this virtual conferencing, will be very immersive, and people would be able to, leverage these experiences, because these experiences are going to get sophisticated at the same time. Because of the technology which we are using, they are going to become seamless, and people are going to get larger value for their money. Because I attended this TIE conference on the tool which was used by this conference maker, and that with respect to that tools, I could join any session at any point of time. I can get recording, I can get the transcript, I could meet the people, I can schedule the one-to-one meetings, I can go to particular table. In terms of, even if you look at physical, to get out and to get into any other conference would take me 10 minutes. But here, I could just walk into any conference room, virtually attend, ask questions, put posts, get connected. So the value for the money for me is much more. I'm not traveling, I'm not spending that time in my hotels and international flights. In a very, very easy manner, the experience levels are increasing. So what we would see is increased participation in the virtual format. See, people have realized, they were amazed all over the world as to how much work that can be done if you are sitting at home. People said the productivity will go down. In fact, the productivity has gone up. I have talked to so many people, they have said that my work gets done in like 6 hours. I have extra 5 hours with me. Can I do any part-time work or consulting or those kind of things? So people are getting comfortable with this technology. Initially, we will be little uncomfortable using this medium, but going forward, this will become normal. Even giving the conferences like that. I can't see anybody over here, but then, after some point, it almost becomes very easy, very seamless. It is as if you are sitting at the next door, and these are, at this point of time, very primitive tools. Just imagine the people, the companies who are working on creating this immersive experience for the conferencing. The chances are that we are going more and more towards virtual conferencing.
Thank you, sir. One last question with 2 short answers from your side, please.
Yep.
What fastest growing sector and sector that's going to show the most decline?
The fastest growing sector would be entertainment, online, video streaming and gaming. Fastest. The sector which is going to be slowest at this point of time is discretionary spending and the international tourism. That is going to be the slowest for some time.
Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary. I think that's all from us. We're not going to go over our time limit. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your expertise and your insights. I think everybody is walking away with a lot more insight into the markets and the growing markets, as well as the impact that the COVID is going to have on us going forward. And with that, I want to thank everybody, all the participants, and thank you, everybody, and we hope to see you at our next webinar. And thank you again, Mr. Chowdhury, for your time and your expertise. We really appreciate it.
So thank you, Charles. Thank you, Vadmani Foundation, Namaste, for giving me the opportunity. And it's wonderful talking to you all, you people across the continent. So this is the power of technology.
That's very true. Thank you. And with,
Thank you.
and
Bye-bye.
with that, I think we're gonna close off.
Yeah. See you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.